Your competitors are scared of you. The Morgan AI-powered Life, the king of closings. This Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST.
Welcome to The Interest. I'm Christine Stewart. Just as things are starting to settle down in the industry, regulators are ramping up their actions against some companies. Just yesterday, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau permanently banned RMK Financial from the mortgage industry for repeat offenses against military veterans. RMK most recently did business as Majestic Home Loans, which abruptly shut down at the end of January. But the order means the company cannot return to the mortgage lending industry under a different name. The CFPB first punished RMK back in 2015 for using deceptive advertising to make veterans think that the company was affiliated with the U.S. government at the time. The agency ordered RMK to pay a $250,000 civil penalty. But the CFPB says RMK continued to use the Department of Veterans Affairs and FHA logos, as well as deceptive language to convince lenders that the company had an affiliation with the federal government. RMK also misled borrowers about the interest rates and terms, and misrepresented loan requirements and refinance savings on top of the ban. The CFPB is ordering RMK to pay $1 million into the agency's Victim Relief Fund. And speaking of the CFPB, the Supreme Court has agreed to take up the case about the agency's budget. The Supreme Court says it will take up the case next term, which starts in October. This stems from a case in the Fifth Circuit when a payday lending trade association challenged a CFPB decision. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with the association that it's unconstitutional for Congress to hand over its power of the purse to the Federal Reserve. For now, the ruling holds in the Fifth Circuit, but it's creating confusion for the rest of the country. The Ninth Circuit in January pointed to the ruling when it vacated an $8 million judgment against a mortgage servicer. In other circuits, judges have decided to put cases involving the CFPB on hold while it waits for the Supreme Court to weigh in.
I don't have to be babysitting my loans. I don't have to be checking on everything. I get to spend more time with my family at the same time as I'm closing more loans. Join Sunwest Mortgage, and you're going to see that for yourself. It's the best experience ever, honestly.
Break free of the matrix of manual loan processing and underwriting. Use Morgan now.
Welcome back. The gap between values of Black-owned homes and a typical home in the U.S. is at its lowest point in 2 decades. That's because Black-owned homes appreciated the fastest in the pandemic, at a rate of 42.5%. That means that the typical household gained $84,000 in value, according to Zillow. Black homeowners were the only ones to see their household appreciation beat the national average of 38.5%. Even with the gain, the typical Black-owned home is still worth roughly 15% less than the typical home overall. We'll be right back with what else is interesting today.
I had to watch him go from so capable to a different person altogether, and it was really hard. We're hoping that this message gets to veterans out there who are in similar struggles. That's how fast Southwest worked. It was truly amazing. It makes me very happy to know that there's a company out there that cares so much, that they go through so much to help, because we never expected this. Never.
SunWest understands that your success is built one family at a time. Visit sunwestpartners.com.
Welcome back. Here's what else is interesting today. The Supreme Court will begin hearing oral arguments today over President Biden's student loan forgiveness program, which is being challenged by 6 GOP-led states. A ruling due later this year could have far-reaching consequences for the president's power to make rules unilaterally. More importantly, for loan officers, it could have a big impact on the housing market. That's because it would mean that there's a slew of new borrowers able to qualify for a mortgage. That being said, inventory still hasn't caught up, so the impact may be muted. For more on these and all of today's top stories, visit mortgagenewsnetwork.com.